Dear Maya, I want to talk about how we create. Not all creative people find their inspiration from one source. I think some people find it from being in a crowd of people and maybe they really love the energy that kind of bounces off of each person. Some people find it while they're meditating. Some people find it while they're running. This conversation that I'm having right now with you is actually sparked from a conversation earlier. Your dad and I are both creative people, but how we come to find our inspiration is vastly different. This week was probably the hardest week for me in a very long time because I am taking a chance. I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying to reach this goal. And in the midst of that, a lot of other things kind of have to fall to the wayside. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I know it's temporary. Your dad has been super helpful with navigating this kind of road that I ended up taking. Going back to how we create, for me, a lot of it is intuition. It's kind of like what I want to do and how I want to feel and how I want to move. A lot of the time, it comes from sitting in circle with community, and I love doing ceremonies or blessings. Today, I was at a cacao ceremony, and I really enjoyed that. My creativity was off the chains with when I'm sitting there doing a meditation or somebody is guiding a meditation. There are times that I'm really seeing things, and I close my eyes and these pictures just arise. I don't think, oh, today I want to have a picture of A, B, or C. I don't think like that. It just comes. And I really enjoy creating like that. I feel like I'm kind of co-creating with the universe. It's so cheesy and weird for me to say this because little Megan would think, what does that even mean? How hippie and weird are you? In this version of my life, I am really enjoying this process. Towards the end of the ceremony, the person who was facilitating it was talking about how we need to thank our ancestors, and I really just felt as if the ancestors were all touching my shoulders, my head, while I was sitting there, just putting their hands out, just kind of being one with me. And I didn't want to watch them walk away, but they kind of just faded away. And it was just such a beautiful feeling of somebody being there with me and for me, guiding me, teaching me. I used to think that God and maybe ancestors were kind of for the weak because I felt as if weak people really just gravitated towards these things, maybe when they were met with death or met with something scary and they wanted to put control into something else because they couldn't handle it themselves. While I used to think like that, I get where that comes from. It comes from a place of wanting control. Now that I'm in this different era, I realize that I don't want control, but I also ask God a lot to help me believe in myself. In each moment that comes to me, I'm not controlling it, but I want to be able to be strong enough to see the best direction that is fit for me. I want to be able to feel fluid with my goals and my dreams and being able to kind of change the course as I see fit. And that was kind of the past 2 weeks. I've really had to shift a little bit. I haven't even been able to go to class this whole week, and that I don't feel good about that. But once again, this is a very temporary shift. So my creativity and the way I've been thinking lately has not been creative. It's been very analytical, very driven by law and driven by things that maybe are in more control, a little bit more strict. And in that way, I feel very uptight. And so because I wasn't very creative this week, my body just felt kind of like just solid brick. It just didn't feel the best. I was moving around a lot in my desk and my chair. I was just moving my shoulders and my arms and like getting up a lot because I don't want to feel this tenseness. I still want to be creative without having the time to be creative. And yes, I'm definitely not putting a priority to that in this moment, but I can still be creative because it's in my nature. So my inspiration is taking care of myself also. And I aspire to keep putting really good and healthy things into my body. Not all the time, but I try to. And so this week, when I knew I couldn't design or do anything for that day, I decided I'm going to create this smoothie bowl and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to have all the berries in it and bananas and granola and honey, and it's going to be this really vibrant purple or pink. And that was my creation for the day. Sometimes being a creative person and when you're feeling a little bit boxed in, it's not that it brings anxiety, it just brings this squareness to your being. You feel like you're a little bit trapped, and all you want to do is move around and wiggle and just be a little bit more free. And I think sometimes we just have to find out how we can do that in different ways. And our inspiration might come from different things. And so I will end this with saying I hope that you follow your internal gut, your intuition, and that you're able to express yourself in all sorts of ways, whether it's food, whether it's art, drawing, painting, designing, whether it's exploring your body and working out and maybe lifting weights, running. Everything we see as creative people, we're always being creative. I look up at the sky and I see these clouds, and maybe they're looking like a princess, or maybe it looks like two people holding hands. That's still us being creative. And sometimes we just have to really dig deep into this giant charcoal mine and pull out this really beautiful gem. That's being creative. So I just implore you to explore and try to find ways that you're inspired, even sometimes when you feel like you're boxed in. Love you, little bean.